There are very few human beings in all of recorded history who have simultaneously reshaped multiple industries, accumulated unprecedented wealth, and remained a constant source of fascination, admiration, and controversy all at the same time. Elon Reeve Musk is one of those rare individuals, a man who was born in apartheid-era South Africa, emigrated with almost nothing, nearly went bankrupt multiple times, and ultimately became not just the richest person in the world, but the architect of enterprises that are literally aiming to take the human race to another planet. His story is not a simple tale of genius rewarded by fortune. It is a sprawling, turbulent, extraordinary chronicle of risk-taking so extreme that almost anyone else who attempted it would have been destroyed, and a reminder that in the 21st century, the most consequential figures in human civilization are not politicians or generals, but entrepreneurs who dare to attempt what everyone else insists is impossible. Elon Musk was born on June 28, 1971, in Pretoria, South Africa, the eldest child of Errol Musk, a South African engineer and pilot, and May Musk, a Canadian-born model and dietitian. From a young age, Musk was consumed by books, science, and computers. He taught himself programming at age 10, and by 12 had sold his first software, a simple space-themed video game called Blastar, for $500. His childhood was not without pain. He has described being bullied severely at school and has spoken openly about a difficult relationship with his father. In 1988, at 17 years old, he left South Africa using his Canadian passport. His mother's citizenship gave him that route, partly to avoid compulsory military service in the South African Army, which he wanted no part of. He made his way to Canada, worked various odd jobs, including a farm and a lumber mill, and eventually enrolled at Queen's University in Ontario. 2 years later, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, one of America's most prestigious Ivy League institutions, where he earned not one but 2 bachelor's degrees in physics and in economics, graduating in 1997. He was then accepted into a PhD program at Stanford University in California to study energy physics, but he walked away from it after just 2 days. The internet boom was happening all around him, and Elon Musk was not the kind of person who could sit in a laboratory studying equations while the world was being reinvented outside the window. In 1995, along with his brother Kimball Musk and a business partner named Greg Khoury, he co-founded a company called Zip2 in Palo Alto, California. Zip2 was essentially a digital business directory, an online version of the Yellow Pages that provided maps and listings to newspapers and media companies. The idea was simple but valuable at a moment when the internet was still something most businesses had no idea how to use. The board of Zip2 removed Musk from the CEO position in 1996, deciding they needed a more experienced executive, a humbling moment that would not be the last time a board would show him the door. But the business kept growing, and in February 1999, Compaq Computer Corporation acquired Zip2 for approximately $307 million. Musk, who held around 7% of the company, walked away with roughly $22 million at the age of 27. Most people in that position would have bought a house, taken a holiday, and invested the rest conservatively. Musk put almost all of it into his next company immediately. That company was X.com, an online financial services and banking platform that he launched in 1999 with the radical idea that the internet could completely replace traditional banking infrastructure. X.com was innovative, ambitious, and reckless in equal measure, and within a year it had merged with a rival company called Confinity, whose own product, a payment service built for Palm Pilot devices, was called PayPal. The merged company kept the PayPal name. The board once again removed Musk as CEO, this time while he was on his honeymoon in 2000, replacing him with Confinity's Peter Thiel. If Musk was wounded by this, he did not show it for long. PayPal went public on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange in February 2002, and just months later, in October 2002, eBay acquired the company for $1.5 billion in stock. Elon Musk, as the largest individual shareholder, received approximately $175.8 million from that sale. He was 31 years old and had already made a fortune that most people could not spend in a lifetime. What he did next defied all rational financial logic. Instead of diversifying or resting, he split his PayPal fortune between 2 staggeringly ambitious companies, either one of which could easily have consumed everything he had and left him with nothing. The first was SpaceX, Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, which he founded in Hawthorne, California in 2002, with the stated goal of making space travel affordable and ultimately establishing a self-sustaining human colony on Mars. Aerospace experts across the industry laughed, or at least raised their eyebrows. Building rockets was extraordinarily expensive, technically demanding, and dominated by giants like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and the agencies of national governments. Musk had no aerospace experience beyond his childhood fascination with science, but he studied the engineering obsessively, hired brilliant engineers, and pushed the company forward with an intensity that bordered on the maniacal. The early years were nearly fatal. SpaceX's first rocket, the Falcon 1, failed on its first launch attempt in 2006, and on its second in 2007, and on its third in 2008. Each failure burned through money that was becoming increasingly scarce. By late 2008, Musk has said publicly that SpaceX was days away from bankruptcy. He was simultaneously running Tesla, which was also in a financial crisis. He had divorced his first wife. He was borrowing money from friends to pay his rent. Then, in September 2008, the Falcon 1's fourth launch succeeded, the first privately developed liquid-fueled rocket in history to reach Earth orbit. Weeks later, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to resupply the International Space Station. The company was saved. What followed was one of the most remarkable streaks in the history of aerospace. In 2010, the Falcon 9 successfully launched. In 2012, SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft became the first commercial vehicle ever to dock with the International Space Station. In 2015, SpaceX achieved something that had never been done before. It successfully landed a Falcon 9 booster rocket upright back on Earth after launching it to space, proving that rockets could be reused and that the cost of reaching orbit could be slashed to a fraction of what it had previously required. In 2018, the Falcon Heavy, the most powerful operational rocket in the world at the time, successfully launched, carrying Musk's own red Tesla Roadster as its test payload, with a spacesuit-clad mannequin named Starman sitting in the driver's seat. In 2020, SpaceX made history again when its Crew Dragon capsule carried NASA astronauts to the International Space Station, the first time American astronauts had launched from American soil since the Space Shuttle was retired in 2011. As of 2026, SpaceX is the most valuable private company in the world. Its Starlink satellite internet network is operational across much of the globe, and Musk is targeting a late 2026 uncrewed Starship flight to Mars, though he himself has described the odds at 50-50. The second company he invested his PayPal fortune into was Tesla, but Tesla was not Musk's creation in the strictest sense. It was founded on July 1, 2003, by two engineers named Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, who wanted to prove that electric cars could be exciting and desirable rather than slow and ugly. Musk joined in 2004 as the lead investor in Tesla's first round of funding, contributing $6.5 million and becoming chairman of the board. As Tesla struggled through its early years, the original Roadster was delayed, over budget, and plagued with technical problems. Musk increasingly took direct control, eventually becoming CEO in October 2008, the same month SpaceX was nearly dying and the global financial crisis was collapsing economies around the world. Under his leadership, Tesla launched the Model S luxury sedan in 2012, which won Motor Trend's Car of the Year and rewrote what the world thought an electric car could be. The Model X SUV followed in 2015. Then in 2017, the Model 3, a mass-market electric car priced for ordinary consumers, began production and went on to sell over 1 million units globally, making it the best-selling electric vehicle in history at the time. The Model Y followed in 2020, and the futuristic steel-plated Cybertruck entered limited production in 2023. By 2021, Tesla had become the most valuable automaker in history, briefly crossing a $1 trillion market capitalization and overtaking Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, and General Motors combined. In 2026, Tesla's market cap stands at approximately $1.5 trillion, still placing it firmly inside the top 10 most valuable companies in the world. Beyond Tesla and SpaceX, Musk co-founded OpenAI in 2015 with Sam Altman and others to develop artificial intelligence safely for humanity's benefit, only to leave its board in 2018 citing conflicts with his other companies, and then in 2023 founded his own AI venture, xAI, which created the Grok AI chatbot. He co-founded Neuralink in 2016 to develop brain-computer interface technology that could eventually allow humans to interact directly with computers using their thoughts. He founded The Boring Company in 2016 to build underground tunnels that could alleviate urban traffic congestion, completing a project beneath the Las Vegas Convention Center in 2021. But of all the chapters in Musk's extraordinary career, none generated more global debate and raw controversy than what happened with Twitter. In early 2022, Musk began quietly buying up Twitter's stock on the open market, and by April he had disclosed a 9.2% stake, making him the company's largest individual shareholder. He then made an offer to buy the entire company for $44 billion at $54.20 per share. After accepting the offer, he attempted to withdraw from the deal in July 2022, claiming the company had misrepresented the number of fake and bot accounts on its platform. Twitter sued him in Delaware court to force the deal through, and rather than face a trial he almost certainly would have lost, Musk completed the acquisition on October 27, 2022. He walked into Twitter's San Francisco headquarters carrying a bathroom sink, posting the moment online with the caption, "Let that sink in," and within hours had fired CEO Parag Agrawal, CFO Ned Siegel, and other senior executives. In the days that followed, he laid off approximately half of Twitter's workforce of roughly 7,500 people. He introduced paid verification, the iconic blue checkmark, at $8 per month. He restored the accounts of numerous users who had been permanently banned, including former U.S. President Donald Trump. He changed content moderation policies, made the platform's algorithm partially open source, and in July 2023 completed the rebranding of Twitter to X, removing the famous bluebird logo that had been one of the most recognized symbols on the internet and replacing it with a stylized white X, a name Musk had been obsessed with since his XCOM days 2 decades earlier. Then in 2024, Musk threw his enormous personal platform and financial resources behind Donald Trump's successful presidential campaign. When Trump returned to the White House on January 20, 2025, Musk was appointed as a senior advisor and became the driving force behind the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, known by its deliberately ironic acronym DOGE, an initiative aimed at slashing federal spending and modernizing government operations. The effort was extraordinarily controversial, triggering mass protests, congressional scrutiny, and intense public debate. Musk stepped back from his Doge role by May 2025, returning his full focus to his companies. As of March 2026, Forbes estimates his net worth at approximately $839 billion, making him not just the richest person in the world, but the first human being in history to accumulate wealth exceeding $700 billion, a figure so vast it has no real precedent in the story of humanity. From a teenager with a Canadian passport and a suitcase leaving South Africa to a man whose rockets are aimed at Mars and whose fortune has never been equaled, Elon Musk's journey is, whatever one thinks of the man himself, one of the most astonishing individual stories the modern world has ever produced.